Okay, you guys. So I wanted to get on here because a lot of women are just, I don't know, they're hanging on to this notion that American men are going to change. You still have women screaming, there's good men out here. They're not all red pill. They're not all full of monogamy. They're not deadbeat baby daddies. You know, there's men out here who deserve to have access to women and children and da 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 da. And all of that is great if you believe in that concept. But like I said, when women constantly keep going through the same experiences with the same types of men who they are, entertaining and what's out here in the dating pool, it just makes it hard for women to believe that there's good men out here. And I know good men. I know good men. But that's not the majority of men out here. And that's what you ladies need to understand. Just because you're having a certain type of experience with a man doesn't mean all women are having that experience. Or women will find that. So I just really want to pull some cards because really and truly, I like I told you guys, most of these American men are full of red pill, they're full of monogamy, they're full of sexism. So it doesn't matter what you think and what you feel. It's about how the men are here and how they've been groomed and conditioned to view women, if that makes any sense. You know, and until you guys change your perspective about women, it's really not going to make a difference how women feel. So, based off these cards here, we have the Four of Cups. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Page of Pentacles that came up in reverse, and we have the Fool card. So overall, based upon these cards here, I really just feel like once again, when the Four of Cups comes up, I don't feel like men are legitimately pouring into women. Okay, I don't feel like there's a reciprocation where men are pouring into women and absolutely giving women um what they are entitled for. Okay. I really feel like the men are not understanding that women are not going to deal with you if you're not willing to make these changes. And I feel like this is ultimately what's going on. I feel like men know that they need to change. I feel like they know that they need to improve and become better people when it comes to, them dealing with women. And then, we have the Page of Pentacles. This is about men being able to provide for women. And I don't feel like a lot of men are capable of being providers. They're not capable of being these men who can take care of women. And this is why women are at this place, because they don't feel like the Page of Pentacles is about this low tier behavior that these men are giving women. We have the Four of Swords here. I just really feel like the whole dating market and things like that, I feel like it's a complete burnout, you guys. I feel like it's a burnout. I feel like women are just exhausted. I feel everyone is exhausted from the dating market out here. And it has a lot to do with the fact that people are not willing to put in the work and are not willing to put in the effort to make these changes in order to become a better dating partner or to literally attract quality people. It's giving burnout energy, you guys, especially with the Four of Swords coming up in reverse. So I really don't feel like, men are putting in the work. They're not putting in the effort. They're not improving, and they're not changing. So let's just get some more cards here. Yeah, we have the Queen of Wands. So there's just a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of insecurities that men have towards women and how they view women, where they feel like women are, inferior. This is the Queen of Wands, you guys. These men who are doing this, they don't lack confidence. They don't have any self-esteem. They don't view women like this. They don't see women having value or anything like that. It's just very, it's very frustrating, these cards that I'm pulling and the energy that I'm pulling from overall, where men and women are standing. So we have the Ace of Wands. So I really feel like, um, men really need to, they really need to do some inner work. They need to do some inner healing. I feel like men really need to kind of figure themselves out. They need to go on a little self-discovery journey, to kind of figure out what they want, who they are as a person before they get out here in the dating market. Because, women are just not going to deal with you if you don't know where you're going and you don't know what your purpose is and why you're here, and how are you going to benefit women. So I do feel like, men do need to do this and really need to work on their mental and emotional well-being. We have the Ten of Wands here. So it's just a burden. It's a burden in the dating market, for women and men to deal with each other when you're not healed or whole or anything. So unfortunately, I don't see men really changing, you guys. If anything, I see this being like a complete burnout. Like, people are just tired of dating and dealing with each other. I just had a card that failed. This card that was. So I do see men focusing on their finances and things like that. So that's the Ten of Pentacles. But like I said, at the end of the day, men need to really improve and work on themselves in order to get these partners that you want, and relationships that you want. So let's just see what else is going on here, because I really don't see men changing. I see men are at a crossroads, you guys, and I see them being very confused on what it is that they want and where it is that they want to go in life, and dating, relationships. I also feel like men have options pertaining to dating. Everybody has options now, and that's kind of what turns me off to the dating market, because you think that you're going to find a partner who wants to commit to you and build a life with you, and there are people out here who are just not thinking about that. There's men out here who are thinking about how to save money, how to make money. They're not thinking about investing that money into a family or children. And then you have some men out here who feel like they have options. They could just get out here and date if they want to, and if they don't have to. They can travel the world, they can make money, they can focus on other areas in their lives. So when it comes to dating, you guys, it seems like everything is centered around people having options. Okay, and people kind of getting away from the monogamous relationships. And that's kind of where things are going for the dating market, you guys. So let's just get some more cards. Like, if men are ever going to change, like, are they ever going to change? Are they ever going to respect women, like human beings and so on? So, um, yeah, I feel like women are now standing in their power, Queen of Swords, and they're standing on business pertaining to boundaries and what they're not going to tolerate in their terms and conditions if they're going to get out here and deal with men. Because I feel like there's just a lot of disappointments. I feel like this is pertaining to women in the dating market and having to deal with men who are not coming whole healed. They're not pouring into them. Men who are coming with trauma, baggage, issues in their past relationships. And these women are not dealing with that anymore. And I feel like the three of Pentacles here is really about, relationships are supposed to be built on teamwork and leadership and reciprocation. And I don't feel like a lot of women are getting that from men. So to answer you guys' questions, are men going to change? Are men going to treat women like human beings? Unless women start imposing some boundaries and being firm in those boundaries of what you're not going to deal with, setting your terms down and your conditions if you're going to deal with men, I really don't see things changing. I do see the Knight of Swords coming up. This is really about you guys defending what's right for you and standing what's right for you if you're going to get out here and deal with men. Like, if you know for a fact you're not going to date a man who has kids, you got to be firm and you got to stick to that. You cannot go back on what you're saying and what you're thinking. If you want to get married at a certain age, then you need to stick to that. If you want to have kids at a certain age, you need to stick to that. It's kind of like sticking to what works for you and finding a partner who's going to respect that and agree with that. But the issue is you guys need to get boundaries dealing with these men out here, because really the only way you're going to see changes with them, okay? Outside of that, you're not really going to make any progress with these men out here if you don't know where you're going and you don't know what you want when it comes to dealing with these men. And you don't have any boundaries that can protect you from these men. In other words, you guys have to set the terms and conditions with these men. You can't let them have the upper hand. You have to set things in place. Okay? If you just don't want to date these men, you don't have to. You don't want to get married or have children, you don't have to. You got to do what works for you. Okay? So, do I see men changing? Truthfully, on their own, no, I don't see men changing. But I see women would have to make these changes in order for these changes to happen with men. Pertaining to the monogamy and sexism, I can look into that. But like I said, men have to make these changes. Men have to be accountable for their behavior and how they're treating women. Men have to want to change themselves. That's not something that you ladies can fix. Men have to do that. The only thing you ladies can do is change and fix what you're doing and how you're dealing with these men. Okay, so we have the star card that came up in reverse. So, like I said, it comes to relationships with these men. Like I said, I really don't see things changing here with these men. I don't. And I feel like a lot of women are disappointed. I feel like a lot of women have just given up on men altogether. I feel like there's a disconnect between men and women. There's a lack of harmony between the sexes there. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of restriction going on between men and women, and just feeling trapped within these relationships. I feel like it's negative thinking. I just feel like there's a lot of toxicity on both sides pertaining to men and women. So this is why there's no harmony between the sexes. There's just really no harmony between the two, because there's just a lot of unresolved issues going on mentally, emotionally, with men and women that really both sides need to heal from. In other words, the dating market is toxic and ghetto, you guys. It's toxic, it's ghetto, it's not healthy, and it's causing a disconnect between both genders. So this is what I see, you guys. This is what I see. I just see a lot of issues between the sexes. I see a lot of unresolved trauma, unresolved issues, unresolved baggage for people in the dating market. It's just People are not healed, and and this is what's creating this cycle in the dating market. Toxic people getting out here dating each other, and relationships are not healthy between both genders because people are coming into these relationships with unresolved issues, traumas, disappointments, and things like that, and they're bringing that toxicity into new relationships that's causing this perspective about how the dating world is. What am I gathering from these cards? Men really need to heal. They need to work on themselves. Women need to also heal. And, like I said, two broken people cannot come together and have a relationship. In order to have a healthy relationship with someone, you have to be healed and they have to be healed. And I just think a lot of people are at a point now where they're realizing the dating market is just too toxic to get out here and date. And, people are just choosing themselves. They're choosing freedom, they're choosing liberation, they're choosing peace, and they're not choosing to deal with this chaotic energy in the dating market. So if anyone were to ask me, why am I not dating? Why do I not want to date? It's too ghetto out here. I am just not interested in out here. It's unsafe out here to date. It's just too toxic and it's just too unhinged. And that's what I'm gathering from these cards: unhinged, chaotic, toxic energy. So I just think people are at a point they just would rather be single, you guys. That's what it's looking like. But I'm gonna get off of here because, of course, I have clients that may be contacting me. My practice just opened like 53 minutes ago, so I'm gonna get off of here. And like I said, I hope you guys have a good day today. I just wanted to jump on here to see if there were going to be any changes with the men, and it just doesn't look like that. I don't see men wanting to change. I don't see men wanting to improve. I don't see men wanting to make the necessary changes in order to be healthy for women in relationships. If anything, I feel like these men are just, they don't care. So you ladies can take this however you want to. And if you're going to deal with these men out here, you need to have some strong boundaries. You need to have some very strong boundaries to deal with these men out here. But that's the thing. I just see a lot of restrictions, you guys. A lot of toxicity out here in the dating market. And people are realizing it's not worth it. It's just, in other words, dating has become ghetto these days. And why would someone want to get out here and risk themselves out here in this dating market and these landmines and how toxic it is? It's just not worth it. So, for the ladies who are planning on just focusing on themselves and healing from everything, and you're not going to get back out here and dating, you just know you're done with out here. You're just done, done, done. You're just never ever going to date. You're just never ever going to have kids or get married. I totally understand it. I'm with you 110%, because the more these men get online and they talk about women and they do this and they do that, the more I am turned off by you men. You guys, it's like I keep telling you guys, people just get on social media. They have made YouTube to be a therapist corner. And it's just too toxic, you guys. I'm telling you right now, the dating market is toxic. It's unsafe. There are just too many unhealed, broken people out here trying to date and have relationships. And folks are in codependent relationships with people to get a need met. You're not like in a relationship with someone because they're healthy, healed, and whole. You're dating this person because you're broken, they're broken, you guys are dealing with issues, and you're filling in empty voids. And this is why you guys are not being satisfied in relationships with these men. folks don't need to be out here dating. Folks really need to be getting therapy. I mean, there are just people out here who need therapy, you guys. And if you're one of these people that you know you need therapy and you're out here dating, you're not healthy. And then, by the time a person does meet the right person, if they ever do, they're coming with so many issues from past relationships with people who have literally scarred them. Yeah, it's just like a vicious cycle. You keep having bad relationships and negative experiences with men. What's going to wind up happening? Your whole perception about men is going to be altered. You keep getting out here having the same experiences with these men, disappointments, heartbreak, whatever you're going through. Eventually that's gonna make you be turned off to dating men. It's gonna make you look at men negatively. And that is what's happening here. Too many people have had bad experiences out here in the dating market, and now they view dating as a bad thing. And that's what I'm saying is happening here for a lot of these women who are in the 4B spaces. These women were out here and they dated men and they had horrible experiences. And now they no longer want to deal with you. And then what made it even worse, you men got online. Some of you got online and you started talking about women and sharing the quiet part out loud. Now you've turned women all the way off to you men. And that's what I'm keep telling you. How do you turn off a whole entire species of women? Well, let's just ask American men. How do you turn your women off? You guys turn women off. Now women don't want to deal with you men anymore. Whew. Women are choosing peace. Women are choosing their mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being over dealing with you toxic men. But ladies, if you're going to get out here and you're going to deal with these men, you need to deal with these men on your terms and your conditions. You set the rules for how you're going to deal with these men and how you're going to deal with them if you're going to choose to deal with them. I saw a comment from a woman who said that she only deals with men for sex. She doesn't go out on dates with these men. She just has sex with them when she's horny. Hey, to each their own. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, not gonna do that. But there are women out here who use men for that reason. Yeah. Okay. So to each their own, you guys. I'm not here to tell you ladies what to do. I mean, you guys know where I stand with that. Just go buy you a nice thrusting, rotating head jackrabbit. Okay, and go to town, have fun, and hey, you're good. You're good. Because it's not even worth it sleeping with these men out here or anybody with the STD risk and everything else that's going on out here. It's not. It's not, you guys. With the STD and everything else that's going on out here, and you do realize that condoms do not protect you from every STD out here, by the way. So, you feel like you need the real thing and you just gotta have it with the man, go right ahead. Go right ahead. But for me, it's definitely not a must. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And if I were gonna get out here and sleep with the man, you have to be worth, somebody for me to even deal with. You gotta be, like emotionally, mentally together. You gotta be worth me laying down with. You know what I'm saying? You damn near literally gotta be like God sent. And I made a promise to the man upstairs. I was not gonna even deal with the men out here like that. You know what? This is what I told God, you guys. I told him, it says, look, when you come back and you return, you need to bring my mate with you. Yeah, I did, you guys. I told him, you got to bring him back with you. And I'll date on the other side. But I just, the more I look at out here, you guys, it's ghetto out here. Dating is ghetto and it's getting bad. Like, it's crazy. I feel like calling my girlfriends, and I feel like going out to eat with them today. I don't know why I feel like doing this. I just feel like going out eating with them, having some drinks, and getting away from all this madness that's going on in the world and having a good time with them. That's what I feel like doing. We might do this tomorrow. Just get the kids. We go out to eat and have a good time out. Like, that's what I do, you guys. I don't go out with these men out here. You men need to figure out how can we become better people for women. Like, how do we turn women back on to deal with us? Because you like I said, you guys have turned women completely off. There's too many women out here who are single and just don't want to be bothered with you men anymore. How do you turn off women like that? I don't know, you guys. It's not good, I can tell you that. Men would go back to the scriptures and says the scripture says man should not be alone. Well, you men sure don't treat women like helpmates. You sure don't treat women like human beings. You don't value women. You don't appreciate women. You don't love women. You hate women. Most of you men here are red pilled out. You've been sitting, like I said. These men, ladies, would have to deprogram from all of the red pill rhetoric about women. They would literally have to deconstruct their whole mind in order to deal with women out here. And men are not going to do that, because once these men have been programmed like a robot, it's hard for them to alter their mindsets. And this is what this is about. This is about you men's mindsets about women. It's toxic, bro. It's toxic. This is why women ain't dealing with you men no more. Women are like, I'm not dealing with this. And they're checking out. They're not like, oh, I'm gonna stick around, wait on men. No. These women are checking out completely. They're going their own way and they're saying goodbye to you men. Like, I didn't tell you guys that this is what I saw women doing, waving back at men, telling them goodbye. Didn't I tell y'all that the traditional relationships were coming to an end? Didn't I tell you guys that women who were going for B were opting out of the complete system? They were walking away from the whole entire system, never to return. Um, and you know, when you got men online, well, by the time you get 50, 60, and 70 years old and you're alone, you're going to do all of these threats. You're going to die alone. You know, you're going to die alone with cats. Men, these little threats are not working anymore. Women are tired of dealing with you men. You turned women off. And now I think you have repulsed women. You guys need to go look up what repulse means. It means women are no longer interested. They're turned off. How do you turn off a whole entire species of women? I don't know. The math is not mathing, men. If women were truly happy with you, the divorce rates wouldn't be high. If women were truly happy with you, they would be running to the altar to marry you. They would not have a problem having your kids. Women are not signing up for that. I'm going to tell you guys what I'm sensing. Please do not come for me. Do I believe that a lot of women hate men? Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. I'm done. I think a lot of women hate you men. But you men will say, not all men. I'm not like that. Well, I mean, you have to look at centuries of what you men in history have been doing to women. Your nature says otherwise, that this oppression against women has been going on for quite some time. I told you guys in previous readings, women were going to start going their own way. And they were going to walk away from men in the patriarchal system. Men, there are women online talking about reducing your existence. There are women online right now talking about more girls need to be born than men. There are women online who are extreme, who are talking about purging you men. I don't think you guys understand. You guys may think I'm extreme, but no, I'm not. I'm nowhere near that. There are women online thinking this. You men are in trouble. You guys are cooked. And I don't know where any of this is going to go. This is a mess out here, you guys. So women like me are on the sidelines, and I'm watching everything. Like I have been for the past 10 to 15 years. Because I knew that this was going to come to an ugly head. Here we are. You guys, I use some mango and lime stuff for my hair. And you guys, I'm just so nonchalant, I know. And I use this stuff, you guys, and it's I thought it was gonna make me have an allergic reaction, but it didn't. I ended up twisting my hair in these little Bantu knots or whatever you want to call them, two twist strand knots, and I mean, the stuff is amazing, you guys. I thought I was gonna have an allergic reaction, but that didn't happen. And yeah, my hair looks great, you guys. I wanted to do something different in my hair, and what I'll probably do when I retwist this over, I have these hair clamps. I'm just gonna clamp my hair, and I'm gonna just try to do it that way instead of, because I think when you use this stuff, you have to sit under a hair dryer so that this stuff can lock in. And I didn't realize that, and I was just too lazy to do all that. So it's at the hair salon. It's called, and I don't have the jar out here. It's mango lime twist hair stuff. It's some kind of gel lock for people who have, these. It's for people who are natural, but people who wear those locks. So if you guys are considering, because I'm always playing around with new hair products, and I'm very cautious about what I use in my hair. So you guys definitely need to go check this out here, this stuff here. It smells great. It is great. And I absolutely love it. Okay. So, and it doesn't make your hair hard and it doesn't have it with residue. I thought it was going to make me have an allergic reaction because I'm allergic to certain fruits and I don't use certain things in my hair. So far, this works great for my hair, you guys. I will be ordering more of this stuff when I want to do these hairstyles. So, yeah, you guys, but this is what's going on here. I think both sides need to heal, truth be told. That's what I think needs to happen. You guys be safe. Have a good day. Stay hydrated. It's really hot here, you guys. I think they said we're supposed to be up in the 90s today or the weekend. It's like humid hot. And I'm definitely starting to feel it. Like right now we don't feel it as much, but later today we're gonna really feel it. So you guys make sure you stay hydrated and stay cool and I will see you guys in the next one.